Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today we're going to be continuing our sort of exploration of the Palladium Fantasy world. Last week we talked about the Western Empire sourcebook and what that entailed, and today we're going to be moving a little bit further north. I'll be taking a look at the Northern Hinterlands sourcebook. The Northern Hinterlands is sort of sandwiched between the Land of the Damned, the Western Empire, and the Great Northern Wilderness. And there's a wealth of opportunity of adventure. I know I said that about the Western Empire book last week as well too, but this book does offer some amazing, amazing tales. Now, being from northern Michigan as I am, a lot of these things are sort of familiar to me, and they make sense to me with ideas of snow and ice and those types of sort of lands that encompass those things, is these northern forested areas and stuff as well too. So this book and one of the other books we'll be talking about a little bit later, the Adventures in the Northern Wilderness, which is a book that's now out of print, but is my all-time favorite source book for Palladium Fantasy. We'll talk about that either next week or the following week as well too, as we expand our sort of look at the Palladium world. But in today's video, we want to talk a little bit about the Northern Hinterlands and what exactly is this book and what does it contain. This book has some amazing... this book is amazing to read. It's just a fun book to read. It's got a great wealth of opportunities of things, everything from conditions, things like snow and cold and how they'll affect your characters. How it'll affect everything from not just the characters, but to the world setting itself, and the NPCs that live there, and the areas that you might traverse through with your characters and stuff as well. It also has a huge section of awesome, because it's such a dense place filled with mystery and lost civilizations and crazy things. There's a great section in here on magic items and special items of things that you might discover while you're there as well too. There's also a whole section on new OCCs that fit with this. If you want to set a whole campaign just set in the Northern Hinterlands, there's a bunch of great new OCCs and stuff for that as well too. But there's also a great section on the history of the different races and how it is that they sort of interact with the Northern Hinterlands, and what it is that they, how their presence in the hinterlands have affected the history of the thing. Talking about like the Elf-Dwarf Wars, the origins of the Wolfen, all sorts of manner of things in here as well too. Great place to set a campaign as well. It's a great place to sort of branch out from the Western Empire as well too, especially if your characters really enjoy exploration. There's a lot of that here. And what's really great about this is that it's not just about exploration, but it's also about sort of the dangers of exploration and stuff as well too. There's a whole, like I said, there's a whole section on dealing with cold and snow and ice and how those things can affect your travels and the safety of your characters as well too. So the environment itself becomes an actual adversary, in addition to any kind of crazy creatures you might run into as well too. There's a nice bestiary in here as well too, of some creatures you might encounter while in the Northern Hinterlands as well too. But I really enjoy this source book. I thought this was a really great addition to the Palladium Fantasy world. And as we'll see in the next couple of weeks, we're going to touch on Adventures in the Northern Wilderness, because the Wolfen, one of my all-time favorite races in Palladium Fantasy. But we're also going to talk about Byzantium and some of the isles and frozen sort of Nordic regions that are north of the hinterlands and stuff as well too. Go check this out if you haven't already added this to your collection. Definitely one of the better ones to have. Extremely well written. It's got some amazing content in here that can be used not just for the Northern Hinterlands, but also for Byzantium and in the Northern Wilderness and stuff as well too. Until next time, I'm Questwise, and I am out.